Christmas has got to be my absolute favourite time of year. All those festive smells that you get in the kitchen, the carol singing, the Christmas tree, the children, the presents, the gifts. But there comes a point as well where I get that cold, creepy feeling just in January when I look at my credit card bill. And so I've decided this year that I'm going to make Christmas in every sense of the word, both make my own presents and make Christmas about what it's really supposed to be about, which is love, laughter, fun, and everything festive. So today we're going to be putting together lots of different delicious things, all very simple that you can do yourself at home. We're going to be stuffing a turkey, which is lifted and sweetened with some beautiful mango and orange. We're going to be making a very simple instant Christmas mincemeat, which literally is throw it in and stir. And we're going to be making a present for my dad. I hope he's not watching, because we're going to be making a cinnamon and orange brandy, which makes a beautiful gift for anybody who likes to get in the festive spirit. I'm going to make something for my mum as well, because she loves baking, and I'm going to be making some orange and clove sugar, which is very, very like vanilla sugar, only you can use it in all the same ways as vanilla sugar, but it infuses all those fabulous Christmas flavours into your baking and your hot chocolate and anything that you can imagine that you would put sugar in. From there, we're going to make some brandy butter with a little bit of a twist. We're going to put some extra flavours in there. And then to finish, we're going to make my husband's absolute favourite. We're going to make an orange and cinnamon Eccles cake. So it's going to be fun. So all you need to stuff your turkey is an onion, some dry cured bacon, some butter, some chicken stock, a couple of mangoes, some oranges to give it that flavour, some pecans which will give it a real crunch and a little bit of texture in there, some rock salt, and of course the bread, which I can use either a sourdough or a nice wholemeal loaf. I'm just going to chop this onion quite finely actually, because you don't want large lumps of onion in here. I'm particularly pleased with this onion. And you can expect some tears any second, because I grew this onion from a little tiny bowl myself. There we go. When you're chopping an onion, just make sure you've got the foot there, and it will keep the onion together as you're chopping it. Oops, this one's alive. You can see, I'm moving my thumb out of the way, and I'm keeping it quite fine. There we go. That is such a strong onion. There you go, tears. I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in the pan. There you go, that's just, it was actually extra virgin olive oil. There we are. I'm just going to get that oil. You don't need too much oil in this, because the bacon is going to have quite a lot of fat in, but just to start those onions off and that bacon, I just want a little bit of oil in the pan. You can hear that sizzling because that oil's quite hot. Let's put the rest of this onion in. I want to caramelise this onion. There we go. Well, they're caramelised and they smell delicious. I'm going to tip all the ingredients into a bowl. You can make it in the pan, which of course gives you less washing up. So I'm going to take this pan back to the oven and carry on cooking the bacon. And of course, cooking the bacon separately gives you a really good crispy bacon. There we go. Well, this isn't just any bacon, of course. This is from Waterloo Cottage Farm. It's free-range, local bacon that is reared, grown, born and butchered literally just up the road from me at Great Oxenden. And so if you're going to use this recipe this Christmas, just make sure that you use a really good quality British bacon, because it makes all the difference to this recipe. You can zest this up a little bit by putting a little bit of orange into it, and it just gives it that little bit of festiveness. So here we go, and you can see all that lovely orange zest in there. Okay, well, to sweeten this, I'm going to use some mangoes, and these are deliciously ripe, and as I push my thumb in there, there's just a little bit of give. And that is how beautifully ripe your mangoes should be. Don't use non-ripe mangoes, you just won't get that sugar and sweetness that you need for this. And that works really, really well with the bacon, with the saltiness of the bacon, the zestiness of the orange and the sweetness of the mango. Just a perfect combination. So I'm looking to get the stone out of here. There we go. And you don't have to be perfect with this. You can, oop. Well, I could say it wasn't perfect. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to slice some little lines down it like so, into squares, like a grid system really. You see that? And then I'm going to turn it inside out like a hedgehog. And that makes it really easy to slice these pieces off into chunks, which I'm just literally going to drop in like that. And have to try one, you know. Shh, don't tell anyone. Delicious. I'm just using this pan to melt some butter now, and that's going to go over the top of the bread. And again, this is just picking up all those juices that are left over from the bacon in there. If you use bread that's slightly stale, you'll get a sort of better texture. So it doesn't have to be fresh bread. And I use round about 500 grams of bread. And I'm literally just going to tear these up. There's no prettiness to this, it's literally just torn bread. And I quite like having bits of crust in there. It makes a textural difference. So I'm literally just going to pour this butter over the bread. And say, just get all those last juices out of there. Well, I've got my special agar jug here, and yes, I know I don't have an agar, but you don't have to have one just to use a beautiful jug. So in this jug, I've got some chicken stock, and I'm just going to pour that over. About 500 millilitres, give or take. Now it's for the fun bit, because this is like Play-Doh. I'm going to get my hands in there, I'm going to muss it all up and make sure it's all really, really come together and the flavours will blend. What you want in here now is something that gives a little bit of texture, because it's quite soft. You've got the chewiness of the bacon, you've got that sweet softness of the mango. So I'm going to use pecans. Of course you can use walnuts or hazelnuts or even almonds, but I think pecans are especially good at Christmas. There we go. And finally, a little bit of seasoning. I'm using rock salt in mine. You don't need to add too much salt in, because the bacon is already quite salty. Well, if there's one time of the year that you really have to go all guns out to get the best possible meat, it's got to be on Christmas Day. So for me, it has to be a free range, outside bred turkey that's had time to run around in the sunshine, to develop, to mature, something that's slow growing. And of course it has to be local, and it has to be brought up in a way that I think means that it will taste really, really good, and I feel good about eating it. So I've gone for a totally traditional turkey from totallytraditionalturkeys.co.uk, and I have to say, this one is a beast. It weighs about 8.5 kilograms. If I can get it out of the box here. There we go. Now, there's a word of warning here. Even I have to listen to this piece of advice, because you have to make sure that you have a tin big enough to take this size of turkey. So check your tins before Christmas Day, because there aren't very many shops open to get a spare one. Well, the giblets are here, and I'm going to use the neck to make some gravy, and I'm going to make use of the liver next. So some people don't like them. I quite enjoy using them because I think they are part and parcel of the bird. I'm going to get rid of this, put that to one side, and it's time to get this baby stuffed. If you're intimidated by a turkey, don't be, because in essence it's just a great big chicken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this up like so, and I'm going to open this up slightly. And I want you to remember that the same hygiene rules apply when you're handling a turkey as it would any other game or bird or anything like that. So I'm literally just going to fill this cavity entirely with this fantastic stuffing, and all the juices are going to get into that, and it's absolutely easy peasy. The general rule for cooking this turkey is about 30 minutes a pound, but you have to be sensible, because if it's a little bit colder, it's not going to cook through, or if it's a little bit warmer, it will cook faster. So in reality, you're looking for the same as you would a chicken, which is you're looking for the juices to run clear, no pink in it at all. So when you pierce the skin with a knife, the juice runs completely clear. So all I'm going to do now is just literally put a little bit of butter in there, on there like so, a little bit more, and just for a little bit of moisture, though these are actually very tender. I'm going to sprinkle some salt over the top. There we go. And that's going into the oven for about, I think this one is about 8.5 kilos, so I reckon I'll check it a few times and baste it over the next 4 to 5 hours. Well, it smells like that's well and truly cooked, so I'm going to try and test it. It's a big, heavy bird. So before you get it out of the oven, know where you're going to put it, because you can't suddenly discover that your sides are cluttered and there's nowhere to put it down. Oh, that looks fantastic. Would you look at that? That is one fabulous bird. I'm literally going to take the knife, I'm going to insert it just behind the leg and just make sure, oh yes, those juices are running absolutely perfectly clear. And so this is perfectly cooked. Don't carve it straight away, give it about 25 to 30 minutes just to rest, and that way all the meat gets to relax, and it's far more juicy and tender that way. So Christmas doesn't have to cost a fortune this year. It's about the simple things in life. It's about delicious food, easy, simple, homemade gifts. It's about fun and laughter and enjoying yourself and getting in the Christmas spirit. So I'm going to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.